Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today we are featuring the X-Men character Havok. This is a part of the Marvel Legends series produced by Hasbro. This belongs to the Build-A-Figure Bone Breaker wave, and Havok is figure number 2 in the series. So there's 7 figures in the series, and 6 of the figures include pieces, so you can build the Reaver character Bone Breaker right over here. It looks great. Previously, I reviewed Wolverine, and actually have all the figures minus Maggot. I'm still waiting on Maggot. So until then, I'm going to try to review all the figures individually, and then eventually, once I have all the pieces, we'll get around to reviewing Bone Breaker. But for today, we're taking a look at Havok. It looks awesome. So if you weren't too keen on the previous releases of Havok, we've gotten the modern era Havok. We got the X Factor Havok. This is the much more classic take on the character, and you can tell by the headpiece. He has the crazy headpiece up there. Beautiful artwork on the side. And on the back, here's the description. Alex Summers, aka Havok, fires superheated plasma from his hands to devastating effect. A veteran hero and leader, he longs to step out of his older brother Cyclops' shadow. Okay, let's get started. This is a figure that, to be honest, I was kind of happy with the release they gave us maybe like, was it 3 or 4 years ago? You know, for me, it wasn't classic Havok, but it was good enough. The Havok figure I was really excited for, though, was the... Man, I can't remember how to open these boxes up. Was the X Factor one. It was the 2-pack with Lorna Dane, and that Havok figure is awesome. I love that figure so much. Alright, so we have Havok here. This is a figure that's not short on accessories whatsoever. As you can see here, we have 2, looks like, I'm guessing fuel canisters. These are the Build-A-Figure pieces for Bone Breaker. I believe they attach to the back of his tank. And you get 2 of these. And the cool thing with this is that it's a Build-A-Figure piece, but in all honesty, if you had no concern on collecting all the pieces to build Bone Breaker, and if you're into, like, you know, action figure photography or whatever, you know, these are just excellent prop pieces, you know, to put in your diorama or in the backdrop of your fig photography. And unfortunately, they don't open. You know, it has the appearance that there's a hinge here, but it doesn't open up. So cool Build-A-Figure piece. Yeah, so like I said, you know, good prop pieces. Now, it's awesome here that Havok comes with, man, he comes with a lot of plasma effects. I'm counting 3. This one looks like it's possibly a display stand because it looks like there's the foot peg, which is awesome. Alright, this does not want to come out of the box. This one does. Alright, so I'm just going to leave this one in here. I can't take it out right now. It's just kind of stuck. And here is, I believe, the display stand. And it has the concentric rings. You know, that's kind of like Havok's signature energy. It kind of, it's supposed to be plasma effects. So wait, I'm confused because there's this peg here, but it looks like it's too big to be a foot peg. I might be wrong on that though. Or does this attach to his back? Oh, okay, I stand corrected. So I don't think this is necessarily a foot peg, but I think it's meant to plug into the back of the figure. So you plug this in the back of the figure, I think, and then it kind of recreates the plasma effects when Havok's like powering up or like, you know, going nuts. Right, you get two fists, and I'm kind of disappointed in that because I'd like to have at least one hand where it's like splayed out. So you could kind of like, you know, you have two different, you know, I'd like to have the two different options. You know, if he's using his energy, of course, a fist is cool, but I also like Havok to have his hands kind of splayed out because I think that conveys a little bit more, a different kind of an intensity than it's like having a clenched fist. So you can remove the fist and then put that over the wrist, and you put this over, and then you kind of recreate Havok's like energy effect when he's like shooting plasma out. So that's pretty neat. I dig that a lot. And this is kind of a thicker plastic. It's not like that soft like jelly plastic that they used for like some of the other special effects in the Marvel Legends line. But yeah, this is really cool. Really excited that they gave us these nice solid plastic pieces, and you get 3 of these. So fun little bonus. Now Havok, the figure here, he's a very, very bare action figure. You know, his costume doesn't have a whole lot going on other than it's this black spandex. The action figure itself stands in at 6 1/4, a little over 6 1/2 if you include the top of the headpiece. And let's get a close look at him. Nicely sculpted. And if you're very, very fond of classic Havok, you're going to love this. It has the crazy like headwear with the, like the gemstone in the front. Alright, so this is like one of those things where I never really understood this like in the comic books because I think different artists interpreted it differently. So Havok, you know, his costume, he always has those rings on his chest. Now, I've seen some artists portray Havok where his costume's entirely black, and then the rings are more like an energy effect. It's not like the bat symbol. It's not part of his costume. But in the case of the figure here, you know, I'm not sure if this is meant to be a symbol that's part of his costume, or if they're trying to recreate the effect that it's, you know, his chest is emanating that kind of like plasma effect. But either way, it's done really well. You get the concentric circles cleanly painted on his chest, and then it's kind of like, it's almost like a halo effect with like a light blue on the outside. So it does almost look like it's glowing, especially on camera. If you saw this in person, it doesn't really look like it's glowing, but for whatever reason, on camera, it looks like it's glowing and it looks insane. So that's awesome. If you're a customizer, I think this is a great action figure for using as a base body, since his costume is, you know, it's just essentially a naked figure. You know, there's no belts or buckles or anything sculpted on top of him. So if you're a customizer and you want, you know, something clean to work off of, this is the way to go, especially with it being all black. So the head sculpt is really clean, really well done. The headpiece, again, very classic Havok. The musculature is nice. In terms of articulation, his head rotates. It looks down all the way, which is nice. Looks up all the way, which is great. He has... I'm so hesitant on butterfly joints. I can't stand them on Marvel figures because most of the time for me they're always stuck and I don't want to force them. This one here was stuck, but I just nudged it a little and it's moving. His right butterfly joint is stuck. I don't want to force it. Yeah, this one's stuck too. Wait, I got it loose. Okay, took a little bit of effort, but I got it loose. I've told this story before. So there's there was a Spider-Man figure. I want to say it was what people call Pizza Spidey, and it had butterfly joints. And then every time I was moving it, I was actually just tearing the peg because it was stuck. And I ended up just ruining the figure by moving it around. This feels like it's not stuck. It just feels like it's tight because you can kind of feel where the plastic indents in the socket. So it's nice. It allows for a lot of movement here. So that's something I can really appreciate. It always annoys me when they give us a butterfly joint, but it doesn't do a whole lot. This one, the range of motion is pretty extreme. So you're getting pretty full range of motion with the butterfly joint, which is awesome. I mean, look how far back it goes. That's great. Arms rotate. They go upward. Bicep cut. Double pinned elbows. It's unfortunate that at this point in time, they're not giving us the pinless design. Occasionally a figure will have it, but in this case, they're still exposed. Articulated wrists, very standard. Again, I kind of wish they'd give us different hand options other than the closed fist. He has an ab crunch, which is cleverly hidden above his abdomen muscles. So he crunches forward, arches back. You get your waist swivel. His legs kick up about there. You got super kick out. Thigh cut. Double pinned knees. Ankle articulation. Yeah, very standard. It's Havok. I love this butterfly joint here. Normally I can't stand butterfly joints, but in this case here, it really allows for some great movement. Again, I kind of wish this guy had different hands, but for what they give us, it's not bad. This will give you an idea of the articulation and the range of motion. If this was a flyer character, this would be a great body. Get him in some dynamic poses. Alright, so with this being the recent release of Havok, let us compare him to the previous versions that we got. So some years ago, I would say maybe going on 3 to 4 years, we got this guy right here. This is kind of like modern Havok. Since this figure's release, I think his costume is a little bit more on the classic side. Now, even though I did enjoy this figure, it kind of annoyed me in the comic books when they changed the headdress. It kind of felt like, I always kind of feel like comic books and their creators and whatnot are sometimes embarrassed by the decisions they make. And for whatever reason, I always kind of felt like when they gave Havok this mask design with this new headpiece where it just wrapped around his head, I kind of felt like, they were trying to modernize the look, and they were kind of embarrassed by the fact that the old design looked kind of wacky with this, this crazy thing going around his head. But, I guess it served its purpose for its time. This version of Havok, I kind of associate more so when, prior to that one event, I think it was called like Axis of Evil, and during that event they took a lot of characters and they kind of like turned their personas, 180. For example, during Access, Sabretooth, his personality was kind of like inverted and he kind of became a good guy. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, Havok, who's, most of his career has been a hero, after his persona was inverted, he became a villain, and for a while he even had like half of his face scarred up. And I think at some point in time too, I think he might have been an Avenger also with this costume. I might be wrong though. It was some years ago. So this is kind of like the modern version of Havok versus the classic Havok. And as you can see, there's difference in, of course, the headdress. I like the chest effect on this one a lot better. I think this one gets the point across a lot more than this one does. And like I said, when you view it on camera, it's just crazy. It looks like it's glowing. As you can see, they have different bodies. This is an older style body, minus the butterfly joint, so he has no butterfly joint whatsoever. As you can see here, where this guy, the butterfly joint allows for this motion. No butterfly joint, so he just, could just do this. Havok, this modern costume has more silver on it. He has the silver gloves, the silver on the waist, and then the silver trim on the boots. Whenever I look at this character, I'm always kind of reminded of the Inhuman character Black Bolt. For some reason, this kind of just reminds me of Black Bolt. But if you're like an old school X-Men fan, this is the costume you're going to want. And it's on a better body too. I kind of feel like this one, you know, the articulation's a lot better. I like the sheen of plastic on this one also. It's kind of like, it's a little bit more matte than this one. This one comes off a little bit on the glossy side, which isn't a bad thing, but I think the matted look just looks a little bit nicer on Havok. The leaner body looks better also. This one's a little bit more heroically proportioned with the wider chest and the wider lat muscles. The face sculpting on the new figure I feel is a lot better also. I like the expression on his eyes, and the lips are a little bit more pronounced. And then here's the Havok from the X Factor 2-pack. I like this costume a lot. This was when X Factor was written by, I believe, Peter David and illustrated by Larry Stroman. This is a very 90s design. You know, he has that crazy 90s headpiece that, you know, characters like Gambit and Shatterstar have. And of course, back in the 90s, everyone had to have like a leather jacket. Really cool figure. I like this one a lot. I believe the 2-pack for this and Polaris, it's pretty pricey on the secondary market. But yeah, this is a wonderful figure. This guy's awesome. So yeah, we have different versions of Havok. You know, name your poison. But this is a great figure. On a scale of 1 to 10, easy 8.5 to a 9. The only thing that would make it perfect for me is if they gave us different hand options. Otherwise, great articulation. Love the addition of these accessories. Awesome, awesome figure. Alright, so let's wrap this video up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you so much for your continued support. So, until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.